Hi there, everybody. Welcome to Roll with Advantage. Welcome to the adventures of the Salamander Coast, where we return to icy cold land from being in the warm desert on Sunday.
Are you doing a voice?
Are you doing a voice?
No, Gemma, I've always sounded like this. Darn it.
Sir.
Anyway, let's roll the intro and get into it. Ho-ho! Anyway, hi. So, welcome everybody to the Salamander Coast. As is tradition here on Roll with Advantage, I do not do the summary, nor does any DM. That's lame. That's nerd shit. So I have my players do it. This week on summary is John, who, to no one's surprise, is gonna do a great summary. Probably the best we've ever heard. That's your cue. So
that's my cue. That's my cue.
I love that whenever you react with emojis. John. I gave you a non-verbal cue. We rehearsed this. please, it's too perfect on the stream when you react with the emojis.
All right, let me get the giggles out because then the summary will just go completely to shit. So, last week on the Salamander Coast, after defeating one of the 13 Onvoth, we trekked back to Maester. During our travel, we decided to throw away sending stones that belonged to Balder, part of the Odinson family. So we chucked them into the forest, not before hearing Odin's voice coming through the stone looking for Balder. But the party quickly, instead of instigating or responding, left the stones behind. We traveled back to the city of Maester, where we informed Liliana of everything that happened. And at that moment, we were also informed about a brewing revolution happening in the city, this rebellion under the guise of known as the Phoenix. It seemed to be an unhappy group, unhappy with everything that is going on with Liliana's leadership. We were told about it and maybe given some options to investigate some people outside of the, or inside of the city in a specific region. We took that information, but firstly went to the tavern to talk to Alika, the Leonin from the Brotherhood, the now leader of the Brotherhood. Talking with him, some of the party catching up, Alika meeting some of the new party members, Ajax enlisting the help of Alika, getting the forces of the Brotherhood to help in the fight coming up. We don't have as many people, so we needed oh my god. Sorry. We needed more reinforcements with the Brotherhood. Alika agreed, and Ajax did insist that he travel with us to the war table to sit down and start further planning for our forces' attacks. Let's see. Oh. See, this is where it gets fucky, because I've forgotten everything. Carasilla and Cecily made their way to a meeting, some sort of meeting hall where there was very many individuals that started voting on something. It was part of the Phoenix, or the, oh god, I'm so fucking this up. Anyways, they talk to all these people. They talk to the leader, who actually doesn't really want to be in this position, but is kind of forced into this position. He's being voted as the leader. He did let Caricilla and Cecily know that Liliana has been forcefully putting people into submission during this time of her leadership. And I believe that was the last thing I remember from the session last week.
Yeah.
That information.
Yeah, very good. So that's right where we'll pick up. Last we had left off, Caricilla and Cecily, you'd been in the back room of this meeting hall, where most of the disgruntled lower-class citizens of Maester typically meet. It's where they eat their food, it's where they complain about the day, and it's where they try and decide what the next steps are. The biggest thing to reiterate is that in that current moment, when Grisha, the butcher, the appointed leader of this group of people, the spokesman for this disgruntled group of individuals, he came bearing news that he had had a meeting with a fiery figure, somebody hoping to relieve them of the cold and grant them warmth. And that if the people, his people, the people he's meant to represent, voted yes, he would accept this warmth. He would accept this flame and do what was necessary. And that is when the voting started. Caricilla and Cecily went to go talk with him afterwards. They introduced themselves, and then very shortly afterwards were pulled into a private room. They learned of Grisha and his true name, as well as his feelings, like John said, about him not wanting this position, but kind of being forced into it because people trusted him. They learned of the horrible things that the Order of the All-Seeing have done in order to maintain order and justice within the city. The force they've had to exert to maintain law and order. Definitely sacrificing the ideals of good to maintain law. He shows them wounds that he had suffered at the hands of Liliana and her choices, her decisions, her punishments, and explains how he doesn't want war or death or destruction. He just wants his people, the people of this town, to be treated fairly and right and properly. And with that, he told Caricilla and Cecily that he could delay the vote for a week. He could say that he's counting, he is trying to come to a total, trying to make sure that he gives them enough time to get to the bottom of whoever this Phoenix is, whatever they want, and whatever goal they're trying to achieve. And he could give them a week to do what needs to be done. They were given the location of the meeting he had with this individual, this fiery apparition. And as a final caveat to the prolonged nature of their meeting, Grisha politely asked if Caricilla would be willing to perform as being the Gleeman she is, and graciously she accepted. So that is where we pick up as our group of our two adventurers, our duo, exits out of the back room with Grisha. Grisha looks to the two of you and smiles, a reassuring smile, a facade that he's very much used to putting on for the people that he cares for. As he looks, and he'll whisper to you, Caricilla, as you're exiting. He'll say, "I would understand if you're busy. So if you'd prefer, you could come back and perform another time. I just need to know what to tell them."
I think it makes it easier for everyone if it's a performance now. Like I said, it gives more reasoning to the meeting.
Very well. And you can see as you look over towards the podium, the last few people are placing their pieces of parchment within the wooden box, and they submit their votes. As the two of you stand next to the stage, you can see Grisha. He moves up the small few steps and stands on top of the platform. And behind the podium, he begins to greet everyone as the last vote is signed and dropped into the box. As he says,
"Well, my friends, I bring to you a rather great news. As I'm sure all of you have noticed, within our midst is a gleeman."
Looking over to you, Carasilla, with a smile.
"I know it has been a long time since we have enjoyed that of music and song, and for some of us even dance. But I think that in the odds of such miraculous circumstances, to have a gleeman of all people within these hollow halls, I think it's only appropriate to join in the merriment, at least a little bit."
And you can see a lot of the people, they nod, they toast their glasses. Some of them clap a little bit. But it is not the typical reception that you're used to, Carasilla. This is definitely an audience that needs to be won over, not necessarily one that already respects you because you're a Gleeman. So, with that, as you currently stand next to the steps of the stage, Grisha will walk off the opposite end, and I leave it up to you. What do you do in this performance?
Yeah, I mean, she will obviously get on the stage, and as she's doing it, will already have started just getting the drone strings going on her Gertie. And when she gets up there, she'll kind of look, I suppose, to the more lukewarm reception, and then she'll look to that one half-orc that Cecily and she had sat kind of near across from. I can't remember what it was, by the way. And I think just remembering hearing his thoughts of his excitement as well, she'll kind of like focus in on that kind of reception, you know, on letting people be, you know, joyous. And also, I guess, especially for him, I think she will also basically take that time to use that universal speech feature. And just, you know, she'll allow it to target him. And it's 4 creatures, so I guess if anyone else is particularly, you know, not with her, to target them too. Just so, I guess, you know, as an eloquence bard, she can just be understood by all, and let her words reach people. So she'll just have this drone go out, and she'll reach the center of the stage. I think perhaps maybe we should start with a story of all things. We can get into music and joy later, can we not?
You can see, as soon as you start talking, Shura's eyes, they, like, wide open. Like somebody just opened up, like, blinds on a window. He is seeing into a new world right now. So you have at least one person who is hanging on every word right now.
Yeah, she's just going to focus in on that energy. I'd like to start with the story of a dryad named Zima. She alone would tend quietly to a mountainous grove, away from any road, any traveller, and certainly away from any village or hamlet, keeping so much to herself that it's said that even time forgot of her existence, and that she became one with her snow-capped mountain, her cold and hard home. Time's attention or not, however, the years still passed, one by one, as they often do, and the world below her changed and grew, even if Zima did not. Until her solitude was eventually interrupted by a small cabin, constructed by a young man wishing to find a place for himself and his sheep. Zima had become so accustomed to her loneliness, however, to her solitude, that she was angered by the sight of the man in his cabin, and became set upon driving him out, and reclaiming her solitude. And so she caused the small cabin's walls to rattle and to shake, but the young man would not leave. She buried his cabin with snowdrift, but he would not leave. She scattered frost over the tufted grass so the sheep were left with emptied stomachs, grew weak, and died. But still, the young man would not leave. And so she became aware that there was nothing that she could do to dissuade the man, too stoic and strong. So instead, she moved to persuade him. She knocked upon his door in a human form she'd almost forgotten, and she stood in beauty true. With radiant eyes, sharp features, skin that glowed, beauty enough that it froze the man's gaze upon her, a fly in a honey trap. When Zima turned and beckoned, he followed, gripped by her sweet whispers, and worn down by the trials of his living. She beckoned and he followed, ignorant of the blackened skies above and the treacherous breeze around him. Ignorant of his changing fate, as Zima led him to the heart of her mountains. And she turned, wrapped and covered him in an embrace. For how warm the coldest of deaths may seem. And Zima's home would remain hers and hers alone. Even if the world below still continues to change and grow, even if she does not. And even as so many men, no matter their strength or warmth of their walls, so many men shall weep at their similar twisted fates, enchanted by unbeckoning calls. And she'll pause, see about the reception, give a smile, I guess, to her one fan in the audience.
Well, I will say no performance check needed right now. A lot of the people, I won't say all, but a vast majority are listening. Some are more in tune than others, but there's almost no conversation in this hall anymore, where everybody's either being respectful or paying attention.
Yeah. I mean, she noticed that, and throughout it, she would have just had, been using her Gertie to kind of accentuate points, it's like having a little audio track. But, yeah, once she finishes, we'll stop, give it a moment, and then would, I guess, return that crank and would start to go into a bit more jovial music. But yeah, she intended for that story to be the first thing. But she does want to make people just generally happier, hopefully, and break through that tension. So she'll start small. Songs that, are easily singable and recognizable to people. And, we'll gradually, as, reception warms up, we'll move into things that, have little dances or whatever associated with it, and just try and get people happy.
Okay. So what I'll say is, in the second part, these people, although they are cold, to say the least, literally and metaphorically, they are respectful. However, to get them to dance, that does require a bit more effort on your part. So I would like you to make a performance check with advantage, because of your previous story that you told.
Well, she always gets advantage.
Oh,
That's probably a good thing, because one of those was 1.
woo!
27.
Alrighty. 27. So yeah, you can see that at first it's like,
Shall be happy.
like people are just kind of humming along, and then you see a few people, they start to say the words and they start to shout the words back and forth, especially when you do things that are more local to Bella Clara. Being from the Central Salamander yourself, there are songs that are from Bromsgrove that is one name, but you play here thinking too many people might not know it. But as soon as you start to do, everybody sort of looks at each other and they grab partners, and some of them do begin to dance off to the side, in a dance that you've never seen before. The Bella Clara has its own cultures and customs, and you can see it coming alive. But it's this beautiful moment that you're familiar with because you've seen similar things happen before, where it's almost like the music that you play and the music that you know and the music you've heard is its own universal language, where even though, say somebody like, you know what I'll say in this moment, your music embraces the magic of your universal language also, given the fact that they are one and the same.
Let's go.
And you can see that Shora, who was able to hang on to every word that you said, you can see he starts to nod his head with the music he hears, channeled through your magic. It's because it's a hurdy-gurdy, John. And Carasilla plays a hurdy-gurdy. It's the
No,
track.
yeah, I get that.
It's the only. She said she was playing happy music. I have 2 hurdy-gurdy tracks in here. I have Carasilla
Happy and
sad and sad.
Hell
All right.
Okay.
I will add more hurdy-gurdy tracks in the future. I apologize.
It's
So
just one of those things when you hear it in a video game so often.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you play music and people really enjoy it, and they dance and they sing and they cheer, and all around it is a very, very good time, and people are happier having had you here. On that note, we are going to fade away from there, and we are going to move to Suni. So Suni, as you make the journey from the All Brothers Inn back to the keep, as you were meant to have a meeting with Lord Commander Bright, you are absolutely enraptured in the cold that surrounds you. There's something very interesting that you begin to see, and you're not sure if it's because of these mirage-like apparitions, because of the cold and the wind and the snow, or if it is something more. But as you're outside in the cold, every once in a while you see a figure in the distance, just outside of your range of vision. Just a blurry form. It stands at a normal humanoid height, but you can see this dull blue glow radiating off of it. The wind seems colder in that direction. You feel a shiver down your spine. And just as you maybe go to take a step closer, the apparition fades and disappears and is gone. If you take a few more steps closer in that direction and look around, or take a moment even longer to stare around you, there's nothing. Whatever was there is gone now. So you continue to head to the keep. Unless there was anything in particular you wanted to do. But you don't see anything as of right now.
I guess I would use my divine sense to see if he could sense anything in the area. I think it's, I don't know.
I think it's 60 feet.
60 feet, I think.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So 60 feet around you, for undead, fae, or fiends, sadly, you don't sense anything around you in this current moment.
Okay.
What? Actually, I'm pretty sure I've had you do this before. If not, fuck it, it's my game. I can decide. Make it just a base charisma check for me. Just a d20 plus your charisma modifier.
Okie dokie.
The sirens begin to go off as a portal opens halfway across the city. They've got it though. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, we recently learned that we live right next to a fire station.
Oh, well, you're safe
That's
though
fun.
from fires.
Yep.
Yeah, fires don't show up if there's a fire station nearby. So, as you channel that energy with your divine connection through Elowen and nature, it is stifled in this area as there's so little life that exists here. It is cold, desolate, and dead to a degree. For a moment, you're ready to just give up on that. It was probably nothing. I don't like the cold. I was just uncomfortable seeing things from the pain. And when you channel that divinity, detecting for whatever things may be around, initially there's nothing. But then, like an animal that catches the scent of a predator near you, your divine sense goes off. It is not of an immediate threat, but it is traces. It is a remainder. You're not sure if it was an actual physical manifestation or if it was some spectral apparition, but in the area of where you saw that specter, there was some type of twisted undead that lingered in the cold. It's not there anymore. Like I said, this is just traces, but it is something that you pick up on.
Okay, well, he's gonna definitely, like, clock that scent, I suppose, that divine scent.
Mm-hmm.
And just to see if... I suppose, because it says that, like, in the way that it describes it as being, like, the smell of evil and all of that.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
Would I be able to... Is this, like, a personally identifiable thing that I could, like, remember and smell this specific thing again?
Oh, for sure,
Divine
yeah.
sense? Okay.
It was potent, for sure.
Okay. And he's gonna clock that in his brain, and then just be wary on his entire journey to go meet with the Lord Commander.
So, you continue that way, eventually reaching the keep. The sounds of snow and ice fade as you eventually make your way into the keep. You can see a large hearth in the corner burning away this magical radiant flame, providing warmth to the inside of this keep. You can see lingering over the war table is Lord Commander Liliana Brighton. She stares at troops, cities, flags. She stares at an inevitable winter that awaits if something isn't stopped. As the doors open, as the guards let you in, knowing who you are, she looks up and she smiles. That look of despair washed away from her face as she says, "Well, Suni, I'm very glad that you could join me. I understand everything with Anvath. We could not have dinner as we planned, but I'm still glad to know that you're alive and well and able to meet now."
Yes, definitely. I hope I'm not interrupting anything.
No. Most days I find myself staring at this war table. Recently, not as much, now that all of you are here, but still. And she kind of picks up one of the small figurines and sets it back down where it was. It is something that has been incredibly heavy on my mind. But we are not here to discuss war, and troops, and numbers, and an inevitable cold. We're here to discuss you, if you'd be willing.
I'm always willing to discuss me.
Of course. So, what do you think of Maester so far?
He kind of scrunches his brow, as much as a scaly creature can scrunch their brow. And he'll say that it's very cold. I mean, even beyond the obvious reasons. I don't know, I guess I'm used to there being a little bit more green around.
Interesting. I suppose that makes sense for a paladin of Elowin, correct?
That's right, and I'm also just always cold all the time anyway, so it's just freezing me to the bone out there.
Understandable. So, tell me, how have you liked using the Moonblade so far?
They're honestly really, really fucking cool. I mean, being able to throw them and have them swing back like that, oh, wow, that's awesome.
You can see her eyebrows kind of furrow at that. So, you already really know how to use them. That's interesting.
I thought that was just how they worked.
For most initiates of the Order of the All-Seeing, eventually, yes, after many years of practice. What do you think of the Order of the All-Seeing? You've only seen a little bit. You've spoken with the Blade Master, as he likes to be known. What are your thoughts on us?
I think that you are all very interesting. I don't know if I'm quite sure exactly what this order stands for and what my potential in joining would really even mean. I only heard so much from the Swordmaster, and I'm very interested, though. I saw the Blade Master dueling one of his apprentices, I assume, and I saw the library and the crafting table and all of that, and it just is so... Seems like there's so much knowledge and, I don't know, wisdom in these halls, so I'm very interested to be here.
Is that something you typically find yourself interested in? You have a desire for knowledge, to learn things?
Not as much before, you know. I actually hardly even know how to read. But recently I feel like I've been missing something. A final clue or a puzzle piece or something to just click into place and make everything make sense. But can't quite find it yet.
So what would you say you're good at, then? Be honest. Be even vain if you wish.
I'm pretty good at pretty much everything, if I do say so myself.
Except reading, I suppose.
Yeah, that's... You know, I'm getting better. I have learned a little bit. Bianca has been very helpful for me in that regard, so... but I'm very, very good at stealing things. I'll say that first of all. And I know that's maybe not the best thing to be proud of yourself for, but I'm also very, very good at fighting. I had the record, at the fighting pits in Water's Wake. I have the record for the most consecutive wins in a row. And yeah, I pretty much lots of other things too. I mean, you can ask anybody. I'm pretty great, so.
Very interesting. One more question. I know it is hard for someone in your position. You have so many individuals that you care for, that you travel with. But as a paladin, you also have allegiances to the promise you made, and Elowin also. But then I'm assuming those cannot be the only ones in your life. Your only desire, I'm sure, isn't to protect. So tell me, what do you want most, Suni?
That's it's a really hard question to answer because I think there's parts of me that want different things, and that's why it's confusing. Part of me craves freedom and the wind and the traveling and being everywhere and anywhere and getting to experience that with no care for who I don't know, just being able to be myself. But I also want to be there and be steady and be the earth like I have all of these people for me to be. I want to be that for them and for the people of Bella Clara and the entire world. So I want to be the wind and I want to be the earth at the same time, and I don't quite know what to make of that.
She kind of looks at you for a moment, thinking. Perhaps this might be the difference between Suni and Desmond, do you think?
Yeah, I've been thinking about that a lot, honestly. When we were traveling and I spoke to Varnast and we had a similar conversation, that it still feels like I'm both things separately, but at the same time together, if that makes any sense.
It's very interesting.
Strange.
It is strange, but I think it makes sense. I had a feeling about you ever since you arrived. Of course, it wasn't... It wasn't strong initially. It was middling, small, almost insignificant. But over the many years that I have served the Order of the All-Seeing, to a degree I've opened myself to seeing small things in people that they may not notice. Like when you were in the temple, you expressed extreme interest in two places, did you not?
Did I?
The workshop and the fighting pit.
Oh, yes.
When it came to the third option, the library, an area where you would have been permitted to enter and read whatever you wish. Not that you would have been able to understand any of the scripts, not because they're in common, but because they're in our own lexicon. But the magic within those books is not read. It is heard, felt, absorbed. It would have been difficult, but I'm sure you would have had the talent to do so. But you decided not to. I'm sure because your friends needed you for something. You were almost done, and you've never had that big of an interest in books. And currently you tell me that you feel like you want to be the wind and the earth. I think that's incredibly interesting. I think there is much you still need to discover about yourself, Suni. All of us. All of us need to understand. We don't stop learning or changing at a certain age. Our entire lives, we change. We must adapt, or else we will perish, especially in the times we live. Some might tell you that you need to abandon one version of yourself and embrace the other. I think they are wrong. I think it is who you are, to be both, to be the wind and to be the earth. I have something that I would like you
to try, if you'd be willing to follow me.
Yeah, I'll try anything twice.
Well, you only have one opportunity, so no second chances, sorry.
Fair enough.
So, you make your way to the temple, heading through those long corridors that had been ruined, the same place where Carasilla and Bianca had gone through, seeing the portraits and tapestries of the family that used to call this keep their home. As you walk through, eventually making your way to the stairs that lead down into the temple, you are confronted by the familiar sight of the Temple of the All-Seeing. So, as you make your way down, there is an eerie silence here. You can see when walking through the halls, looking down the corridor where Cecily and Vondor had constructed the teleportation circle, dwarves are beginning to fill in. The cots that were once empty, they now have life to them. However, the dwarves, they understand the reverence that these people have in this temple. Same as how you would be respectful in someone's forge in the city of the dwarves. They're respectful here. It is quiet. As you walk, the only sound that echoes throughout the halls are your footfalls. The sound of the metal of her boots scraping against the floor, and your own footfalls. As you make your way down the long corridors, you pass by each one of the 3 rooms you had passed. The library that contained magical secrets of the Order of the All-Seeing. The sparring pits that had held the fighting warriors. And you even passed the workshop where small bits of crystal and metal disassembled on small tables. You walk past all 3 of those rooms and find yourself facing a stone wall. She looks to the wall, and she looks down to you, and she says, "All you have to do is walk through. It is as simple as that." And you see she walks, and she steps, and fades through the wall.
Suni will just kind of blink a few times, processing what he just saw. And he'll start by just poking a claw against the stone.
Tink, 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 tink.
Then he'll
It's
scratch
stone.
his head.
Yeah.
And then he'll shrug his shoulders, and then he'll try to walk through.
Okay. Suni, as you attempt to walk through, what are you thinking of?
Erosion and the way that water cuts through stone.
Okay.
I don't know if he knows what the word erosion means, but that's what he's thinking of.
Yeah. I gotcha. You step, embracing the elements. Water. In the way that even the smallest stream can whittle away the largest mountain. As you step, it is an infinitely slow process. As you feel as soon as your foot begins to fade through the stone, the world around you slows. And it feels like years that you take just a step through the stone, but eventually the world around you fades as you enter into the stone. The fire still burns around you. And a voice speaks out. A voice you haven't heard in a long time. Suni, are you ready to continue your training? As you step through the stone and open your eyes, you are back in those long ivory halls, standing across from a tall, blonde-haired, elvish man with purple eyes. Are you all right?
He'll take a second to kind of look at himself and his surroundings. Yeah, I'm okay.
Huh. You just seemed a little out of it. I just wanted to make sure you were all right.
Yeah, I've been feeling a little foggy recently, but I think I'm okay.
Very well. I just want you to understand the gravity of the situation, my boy. There's a lot at stake, and it's not something you should tread into lightly.
Sorry, what situation is this?
It's all right. I understand it's a lot. Simply put, I haven't heard from Sultana in many months. And I believe I know where she may be. You're the only person I trust with this mission, and I know the relationship that the two of you have. But you have to understand where she went. And if she's been gone for that long, there aren't many explanations as to why.
Where is it that she went? I'll go anywhere to get her back.
My boy. It's rumored, and what I have foreseen is she has gone to one of the forbidden seals. I believe she'd found one. And I believe she means to open it.
Can she even do that? By herself?
You and her have both been taught by me. And the hidden flame and the magic that we give to all of you. She cannot open it by herself, no. In order to break those seals, it requires equal parts light and shadow. So if she plans to open these seals, you must understand, she is not your ally. She is not your friend. She is your enemy. You understand?
I don't. Why is she doing this?
I don't know.
It's not right.
No, it is not. It is incredibly unlike her. But I'm afraid there are things that are bigger than us.
I'm gonna save her, and I'm gonna bring her back. I won't lose her. Promise you. Just tell me where I have to go, tell me what I have to do, and I'll do it.
If she is attempting to break open these seals, if she has sworn herself to the father of lies, Suni, there is only one option. And it will be painful. It will be incredibly hard. But you're the only one I know that can handle this.
There has to be some other reason or explanation. I can't believe she would turn her back on us like that. There has to be something else. I'm gonna bring her back. I'm gonna talk her out of this. I'm gonna figure this out.
You have to make me a promise, Suni. If you go with that in your mind, so be it. But you have to promise me that if it comes to it, you will do what needs to be done.
It shall be done. I promise.
Good.
And he's just staring at the ground.
Emeril puts a hand on your shoulder and says, I know it's hard. I know. But something tells me this is not the end for you two. Keep up hope. You'll make it through this.
Thank you.
And as you turn away, Suni, you walk down the hall. As you do, you step through the stone. You exit back onto the other side. And you can see that Lord Commander Brighton stands there waiting for you. And she... Well, how does Suni look when he exits out of the wall?
Probably pretty shaken.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Still kind of looking towards the ground.
She kneels down. Well, she'll move over towards you, and she will, in a very similar way, place a hand on your shoulder as Emeril did. I know that what you must have just experienced was difficult to live through. When we step through that wall, it shows us a turning point in our life, where things were never the same again. It is hard to relive. And most people, when those moments happen, they have no way to change. They have no way to overcome the ways their life has been changed by that decision, by that event. But you emerged. You returned to us. While shaken, you are still here, right? Suni, do you react at all to her asking you if you're all right or if you're here?
He gives, he'll finally kind of look up and meet her gaze, and he'll just give a slight nod. I think I'm
And-
okay.
She'll nod back solemnly and say, "Good." Now you must understand, Suni, what I am going to do is highly unlikely. And it will not be appreciated by many of the masters of my order. You see, the Order of the All-Seeing, we stay in Maester. We protect Maester. We are the only reason the city is still standing. When you enter this order, you stay for life unless some type of extraordinary circumstance either removes you from your position early or you are granted leave by the Lord Commander. After hearing the return of Bianca and potentially the Damaris name, I sent away the Blade Master to find her. That was different. He is back in Maester, or will be back soon. You, however, I am afraid will never be in Maester for long. The world needs someone like you, and you have obviously shown great interest and skill with those blades. If you would have it, Suni, you may sleep on this if you like. I extend an invitation to the Order of the All-Seeing. For the time that you are in Maester, you may train in these halls. You may learn the secrets that we have. And upon your leaving, we will grant you a title. Whichever one seems to fit your talents best. Whether that be champion, warrior, or minister. However, I already feel as though you will be anyone but the latter. No offense to you. You seem to be a man of action, not of study. But
I feel like you learn more by doing than reading, personally, but I know your books aren't read, but still.
I understand.
I will think about it, and I will definitely come back to you. It's a big decision.
It is a very big decision. Well, the last thing I will do is this. For making it through the wall, and for being given the honor of the offering. For one, I will allow you to keep those blades, since you seem to use them well.
Very well.
And the other thing I want you to think on is, should you accept or decline my offer either, I want you to think of what means most to you. Whether it be self-will, whether it be the natural world, whether it be the gods and their divinity, or the weave and its magic, or love and the power of it. When you return with your answer, return with one of those 5 things that you care for most. And with that, I look forward to seeing you again, and with what answer you bring me.
Before I leave, I do have one question, and if you decline to answer, I will understand, but I'm just curious. What did you see when you stepped through the stone wall?
Suni, I want you to make a persuasion check.
Okay. Persuasion check.
It's closing time.
Oh, are you
Oh!
kidding me? It's fine.
Oh, man. That's really sad. I'm so sorry. Okay, sorry, I just wanted to post those, that way you have them. You can see it's now her turn to look towards the ground and say, maybe another time.
I respect that.
And with that, unless there's anything else that you wanted to ask her, she will lead you back up to the war room, and you are free to do whatever you wish with the rest of your time today. And I believe that was reconvening, unless you had anything else you wanted to do here.
No.
Nope.
I mean, maybe I would check out the dwarves and just to get like an idea of how they're doing, if they need any help with anything or any additional hands or resources.
Oh, yeah, you can see that as you move over, more dwarves are arriving, so there's a little bit more noise in here as people are settling in. Vondor is explaining to them. But you can see there are too many dwarves showing up for Vondor to easily explain and say where they're going to be. So if you do approach, you could help Vondor sort of get everybody settled in for the time that you're here.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd help him do that.
All right. You help out Vondor. Vondor is appreciative. Very much so. Alrighty.
And I think I weirded him out the last time you saw me, so...
Getting back on his good side.
I think, yep.
Yeah. Okay. So, with that, we cut away from Suni. And we move to our last little duo here. Bianca and Ajax. You make your way through the streets of Maester, heading across several bridges and into the more affluent area of Maester. The small area that still exists, after all. And as you approach, you can see it's not very well guarded, aside from the normal members of the Order of the All-Seeing that travel and that are posted on guard. So entering into this area is relatively easy, especially after them recognizing who you are. They let you pass and ask no questions. Eventually, you arrive at the abode, the manor that you believe belongs to Archer. And as you approach, you can see that through the glass window panes, currently they are covered up entirely with wooden board and cloth and wooden board to try and insulate some of the heat on the inside. Right around the edges, you can see there is a lot of light coming from inside, a lot of fires burning, but you're not able to see anything through the windows in here. So as you approach, as you step up to the door, my question is which one of the two of you is knocking? And how are you approaching this situation?
I feel like Bianca would knock. I don't think there's anything special about how she's approaching the door.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, Ajax is just following Bianca's lead right now.
So, you approach, and as you knock on the door, you can see the door swing open as there is this wind that sweeps from behind you into the manor. You can hear fire burning inside, and the man that opens the door is very finely dressed, a younger man, and says, "Oh, please, come in, please, come in.
Thank you.
Yes, it is cold out there, please, come in. Oh, look at you," and looking to Ajax.
Hello.
Hello, yes, well, and you can see as the man shuts the door behind all of you, there is a fire that burns in the corner, and you can see that one of the heat lamps from that you've seen outside, there's a smaller one that is currently hanging like a chandelier from the very center of this manor. However, you can see that the doors off to the side are boarded up and closed. There is a small bed and a small table all kind of situated together in the singular room. There's this common area, this foyer almost. An area that was once well decorated and very fanciful in terms of the extravagance. But now you can see that those things have been pushed off to the side for more practical things. Fur blankets and coats, weapons, crossbows, armor. You can see a collection of those goods off to the side as he looks at all of you, and you look at him, and he says,
Well, thank you very much for coming. I think that I already recognize the two of you. I myself, we have not yet had the pleasure to meet. Wait. Sorry. Yes, we have had the pleasure to meet. It was just a very, very, very long time ago. I think I recognize that now.
This is Arthur, right?
yeah, you are
Okay.
pretty sure. He's a little different since the last time you saw him, but you're pretty
Okay.
confident that it is him.
It's been a while. Arthur, correct?
Yes, I'm very glad that you remember me.
It took me a second, admittedly, but it's really nice to see a familiar face. How are you doing?
Well,
Hmm.
you know,
And he kind of looks off to the boarded up like interior doors to the house.
Mm-hmm.
I would say that things could always be better, but I am alive and I am warm, so that is more than most people can say.
Very true. Do you mind if and she's like gonna like walk over to take a seat.
Oh, yes, please take a seat. Is there anything I can get the two of you? I have some mulled wine or some hot tea that I could grab.
I'm fine.
I am also fine.
Very well. Understandable.
Like I said, it's nice to see a familiar face. I guess I wanted to connect with you. Is it true that you consider yourself part of the Crown's Keepers?
Well, in all honesty, yes, I do. I know that might sound strange considering what you know of my family and of what status we hold in Belka.
Yeah,
But-
I was very surprised actually.
I'm very sure. But the thing that I've realized about myself in the years since you left Belka is I have never been quite a big fan of the way things are run in Bella Clara. I don't know. It was shortly after you left. I was living life as I typically did, you know, staying out a little too late, going from tavern to tavern, drinking a little too much, and, well, one night I ended up in the wrong tavern in a poorer side of town, and someone recognized me. And well, they attacked me. They robbed me. They took almost everything that I owned. And in the moment, I was angry. In the moment, I thought, these people are below me. How dare they do something? When I told my parents. They went to the proper authorities. And they received their prison time. Each one of them owed my family 20,000 gold for physical damages and personal belongings stolen. What I was wearing, the money I had on me, could not have been more than 500 gold. I thought on that for a long time. I'd gotten justice, but it didn't feel right. I tried to think of why they were angry, why they did what they did. And one of the things that I realized was it wasn't me necessarily that had done that, or my parents. There was a system that was put into place that was the issue. The system hurt them. A system that I was a part of, that I profited off of. And so, one day I became inspired by your actions, actually, looking to you, Bianca.
Oh.
You were brave enough to leave Belka, to go on a journey that you had no idea what it would possess. Granted, you left to open your own apothecary shop in
Yeah, to continue to benefit
Somerset.
from the system, you know.
Of course, but it was different. It was strange. It was new. So I left too. I left in the dead of night. I didn't leave behind a note. I just left. And, well, they found me and they brought me back. So I left again. And they brought me back. And a third time. And this time when they brought me back, my father sat me down and he said, if you leave again, I'm not sending anybody else after you. And I told him, wonderful. I'm sorry that it took so long for us to come to this. And, well, I left and no one came for me. And that was maybe a year ago. I spent a long time wandering. I spent a long time begging on the streets for money. Eventually, in the city of Giant's Bridge, I realized that there were other things that I could do. I got involved with a group of unsavory individuals there, Giant's Palm. I'd gotten involved with them. I had profited off their business, and then eventually I had enough gold from them to set up shop for my own. I moved to Maester. Maester was a much bigger city. And then I got rich again. I was taken care of, not using any of my parents' money, but once again I had profited off a system that allowed me to succeed, that allowed me to abuse other people. And in that moment, maybe 2 or 3 months ago, I realized that a system that allows it so easy for those that have a valuable name to rise in power so quickly and abuse people so easily is a system that I don't want to support. So when I heard of a potential return of a great ruler that could change the way things were, well, I decided to start pouring my money into that. And now I can safely say that I am broke. Not a lot of business these days.
That's incredible. And I mean, I feel the same way, had a very different approach. Granted, my parents also felt the same way as us much earlier than we discovered. However, though I've been like having a lot of ideas and plans about what to do and how to change not just the old kingdom, but Bella Clara, what would you recommend? What system have you, I guess, as someone who has benefited multiple times from this broken system, and we know it's broken, what do you think would fix it?
Well, for one, I would recommend removing prison times to equate to gold values. That one definitely seems like not too great. But a whole system? I don't know. Anywhere you look in the world, there are issues. Whether it be to the north of us, with the Tsar of Bromsgrove, there are people who disagree with him. He makes calls that people do not agree with. Sometimes people are unhappy, sometimes people starve. Look even farther north to Thorol. They have a true democratic republic. They vote for representatives to vote for their best interests. Which, on paper, is great. But in all reality, the politics are vicious. Senators, representatives, they die daily. Look even to the south, the kingdom of Iverion, a new kingdom, newer than us by a long shot. There is a king who rules over the lords. But I've even heard recently that there was a plot to usurp the king, to kill his son. There was a tournament recently. And it is wild for me to think that, because by most accounts, most people enjoy the king and the kingdom, but I guess not his son, so that was means for a war in order to claim that power. Tarkir is the oldest standing kingdom, but not without flaws. The entire kingdom almost fell many years ago when war came crashing down on them from Macavia. And let's not even get started talking about Macavia. You know who I think has it pretty right? The Wild Ways, honestly.
No leadership, basically?
There's demons that attack you, but that's no different than here. And from what I hear, people have a really good time.
I was going to say, we do already have the demons.
Halfway there. I will say I'm quite interested in Thoral's system, though clearly plenty of flaws, as you said. I don't know much about it, honestly, but I want a way to put the power back in people's hands, these people's hands, they've been so taken advantage of and honestly just abused for years, that I just want these people to feel like they have a say in their lives. Now, I know rebuilding a whole system of government is going to be a long process, but I don't know, that's just what I'm hoping. It's something I've wanted before even I fell into all this. It's something I wanted as a citizen. I wanted to have a say. I just wanted to be a part of something, to be able to make change, and money not being the only way to sway the system.
It's very interesting. I agree with you entirely, of course. But, I mean, have you not thought that maybe what some people want is a return to what Bella Clara was originally?
I have thought that. I don't know. The Crown's Keepers are wonderful, and I've really appreciated their support. However, I don't know if that is the overwhelming impression that I have gotten from the current citizens as well as the previous ones. As a follower of the Raven Queen, I do get to interact with them from time to time, and they are not thrilled that I'm here. I'm getting a lot of mixed signals, as I guess what I'm trying to say. I don't want anyone's opinion to fall on deaf ears. I'm just trying my best to feel it out, to give people the best chance to have a life that they would want. And I know not everyone's going to agree, obviously. Like, there's so much infighting right now. It's in every city we go. There's infighting and different opinions and people calling the other, like, crazy or believing in some sort of conspiracy theories, or even the conspiracy theories being true, which is even worse. It's a real mess. So I'm definitely open to opinions.
Well, Ajax, what do you think? I mean, you were captain of the guard in Pilka for so long. You had your ear to the pulse, I suppose. What did you hear from people, or what do you think is right in this situation?
Honestly, I try to stay out of politics as much as possible. But
Well,
being...
I have bad news for who you're sitting next to, then.
I have worse news. I'm on the council.
Oh, you're really bad at staying out of politics, aren't you?
As captain of the guard in Belka, unfortunately, I played into the system. I was never really fond the way they did sentencing, and the system is broken. It has been for a long time. And I know that there's a lot of infighting currently, and that is probably due to the system being broken for so long. I do agree. Going back to the way things were is probably a good first step. And then building upon that, seeing what the people say and what they want. To be a queen of the people, well, you have to give them something to work with first. There's always a blueprint before you build the right thing. But currently, everything is really messed up.
Arthur, I have this idea. I would like to speak to the people, at least the people of Maester, and then let word spread from there. I don't like that a lot of what's been going on with us, the council, has been mostly rumors. I want to just put out there some solid truth that people can hold on to. And there's a few things I would like to put out, but one of my final points would probably be that if I am not wanted, if this change genuinely isn't wanted, if going back to the way things were before the ice and demons is not wanted, then after we are done freeing this place from the ice curse, I will go. I will leave the Old Kingdom. If they don't want any more Damaris intervention, I'll go. I don't want to go. I want to help. I want to take care of these people. I feel a sense of responsibility. But I'm not a dictator. I can't do that. And if I'm unwelcome here, then I can't stay. I can't be my grandmother.
Well, firstly, I want to say I respect your decision. You have a lot more restraint than most people would have in your position, so good on you for that. In terms of what is best and where to meet, in order for people to meet safely outside of the cold, I'm afraid you really only have two options that could accommodate that size. There is the keep, provided Lord Commander Brighton allows you, which I don't see why she wouldn't. She seems to enjoy you. And then there is the temple, the cathedral more like. Both of those places are large enough to accommodate a large enough group of people safely outside of the cold that you could have your meeting, make your speech, your points safely and not endanger any of the citizens. If you were to do it anywhere else, it either A, wouldn't be large enough, or they would be in danger of the frost.
Speaking of the temple, what do you know about it? I mean, it seems just kind of like it was born from the people's pain, this concept of this sapphire god. But I don't know anything about it.
I will say that I've only been around for, like I said, like a year about in Meester. And, well, what I can say is it's not, it's not entirely harmful, at least on the surface, which is about as familiar as I am with it. It seems as though Azure, she takes a lot of responsibility on herself to provide for people, to make sure they feel safe, to make sure they feel cared for and loved and respected. Especially considering most people don't feel respected by Lord Commander Brighton and the Order of the All-Seeing.
They don't?
Well, you know, it is hard to separate rumor from fact, but in the beginning, when the snow first started to fall and people started to die, there were riots in the town. Raids, people trying to steal and take anything and everything they could. And there was no organized guard. No neutral faction, so considering that the city of Meester was built around the temple of the Order of the All-Seeing, they stepped in. And say what you will about them, but they brought order. Because even though I call myself a crown keeper and I support you and the destruction of the system that has hurt them, they still see me as an investor. I believe that if the Order of the All-Seeing did not put a stop to those riots, I probably wouldn't be here having this conversation with you right now.
But people who started the riots and had to have consequences see it differently.
Correct. Most have adjusted to their life, but others Others are still angry. Others are still very angry from what I hear.
I mean, that's unsurprising. The history is pretty telling of that. So, I could meet in a place, or try and have everyone meet in a place that some people think are harming them, and then the others with the organization that I just don't know much about.
Or you could have it out in the cold. If you have it by a lantern, maybe where all of you have been staying, there might... If you do it near the lodge, there might be enough room for everyone, and the lantern won't keep most people warm enough. But the people on the edges of the lantern, they could succumb to frostbite. Maybe not die, but still be harmed.
I'm not sure having it outside is the best idea. People aren't going to want to stand around when they're cold.
It is the most neutral, however.
Well, I'll talk to Brighton, or we can talk to Brighton, and we don't have to make a decision right now. I mean...
So if I may, I recommend making this a council decision. Hopefully your council is full of people with different life experiences, so you'll get valuable information.
No, I have a very good council. I trust all their opinions. This is very, very helpful, Arthur.
Of course. As I said, I am very happy to help in whatever way I can. I do not have the funds that I used to, but I have the knowledge I've collected. And I suppose if you ever need one of these, and he points up towards the heating like chandelier, I could always stay somewhere else.
Oh, no, don't. Not on our accord, no. I mean, unless you have any questions for us, I feel like you've already given a lot of helpful information. Sorry, I have a lot on my mind.
No, you are fine. There's a lot going on. It is understandable. But if the two of you have nothing else you wish to discuss, then it might be best for you to go confer with your council.
Mm-hmm.
I find that the faster things are done around here, the better. As who knows when the next snowstorm will come and cover these streets in another 12 inches of snow.
Yes, time is definitely of the essence. In general. Are you good, Ajax?
I'm good.
We'll be speaking with you again, I'm sure. Yeah, we'll obviously be around, so...
Good to see you again, Arthur.
It's very good to see you again too, Ajax.
Please, continue to keep out of trouble.
I will do my best. All right. So with that, the two of you depart from Arthur's abode, and you head, I'm assuming, back to the lodge, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So the two of you, Suni, and we'll cut back to Carasilla and Cecily. Was there anything else the two of you wanted to do after Carasilla's performance within the area?
I mean, if we got a week that he's buying time to investigate the Phoenix thing, I feel like we should report back to the fam, you know? That's just my thoughts before we start just doing a two-man sleuth.
Yeah, no, I think, especially in that area, there wasn't anything but getting back to party to talk about this Phoenix, and sorting shit out there, so Yeah, I guess then return back to the lodge.
Okay, alrighty. So as all of you now head back to the lodge, back to the warmth of your abode, that is actually where we're going to take a break, because that's the best place to do it. So you will have a break to sort of go stretch your legs, do whatever you need to do, and we'll be back in a little bit. So thanks for watching, and we will be. Get into it. Hello, everybody, and welcome back. Cameron is thoroughly confused right now for a good reason. But we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna dive in, picking up where we left off. Our group of adventurers. Sorry, our group of adventurers had made their way doing their different errands around the city. Sunni had gone to speak with Lord Commander Brighton about potentially joining the Order of the All-Seeing, having to relive an extremely painful memory of his, a moment where his life had changed for forever. After reliving that memory, he was granted an offer, and within that offer, he was asked a question. When he returns to Lord Commander Brighton with an answer as to whether he will join or not, he must also have an answer to this question. Of these 5 things, which do you hold to be most important in your own life? Your own self-will, the divinity that connects you to the gods, the natural world around you, the arcane world and the weave that moves around you, or the power of love and what it can do. He must have an answer to that when he returns. To Bianca and Ajax, they went to go speak with Artur. Artur being Artur Husak. Artur being a young man within the city of Maester who actually has met Bianca and Ajax before. They speak of Artur's history, what had happened to him since Bianca had left Belka, and about what next steps may be necessary for the kingdom of Belliclara, what type of government to take the place that currently rules. No one had a perfect answer, but what Bianca left that meeting knowing is that she would confer with her council, with the party, and she would listen to the people. Because she wants to meet with them. She wants to tell them what she feels and what she wants to accomplish. And she wants them to know her true intentions. There's no hiding behind a wall or the royalty. She's a person, and she wants them to know that. Then, with Carasilla and Cecily, Carasilla had performed this enrapturing story about solitude and isolation and the lengths we go. It sucked in the audience within these hallowed, desolate halls. People who probably at this point in their life had stopped listening to stories, stopped reading them, stopped thinking about them. They had only thought about what their next meal was going to be and how they were going to make it to the end of the day. As any good Gleeman would, you gave them a break from their worries, from their pain, from their anxiety. And for a moment, they lived sweetly and peacefully, dancing and singing to the different shanties and folk songs you performed for them. One that was really, really, really familiar to like everybody, apparently. So, you finished up your performance, and just like the rest of the party members, you head back to the lodge to share with the party what you discovered about the Phoenix and about this impending revolution. So, with that, eventually all 5 of our party members reconvene within the lodge. The first... Oh, did Foundry just break? No. I gotta refresh. With the first being Suni, then shortly after Bianca and Ajax, and then shortly after the 2 of them, Cecily and Carasilla. The 5 of you reconvene. You sit within your small lodging area. Keothi and Mimir are off helping the injured and sick of the lodge to the best of their ability. So that means that all of you currently are alone, free to speak and talk with each other to whatever your heart desires. So, as the camera pulls back and reveals all 5 of you sitting in your respective areas, eating or drinking the food and rations that have been prepared for you, I open it up to you. And you are free to speak about whatever you wish.
Well, I hope everyone felt good about who we met with. I know Ajax and I meeting with Archer, I have some good things I want to talk with everybody, but how's everyone feeling?
Cold.
Right. Well, at least with Archer, I kind of tossed around this idea, and I've been tossing around in my head for a little bit, but I want to talk to the people. And basically just, I know there's been a lot of rumors about us and what we're going to do here or why we're here. And I want to give them some truth, some solid anything to hold on to. Not exactly sure how that's going to look yet. He mentioned that meeting outside could be kind of dangerous. Even if we get them in a pretty warmed space, people could still get frostbite. Maybe not deadly, but definitely harmful. So we could meet in the temple. However, I don't know anything about the Sapphire God or much about Azure, so it might seem like we're aligning with her, even though we don't know anything about her. Or we could meet at the keep for the all-seeing. It seems like there's he kind of hinted that there were some mixed feelings about the order as well. So that wouldn't necessarily be everyone's favorite idea, but that's kind of what we landed on.
I'll say I think can anticipate some hesitation, if not outright refusal, with meeting at the place with All Seeing. When Cecil and I went to the part of town, they already had their own little meeting lodge, already had their own little way of doing things, and certainly have reservations against the All Seeing. I'm not sure how well they would take it to have a meeting there, and I know we don't necessarily want to align with the temple before we've talked with Azure at least, understood more about that, but there's still something to be said about making it so clear that we're aligned with the All-Seeing like that, especially here.
Alright, then we could talk to Azure and see if we can get a pulse on that situation a little bit better than just the initial little introduction we got to have. Despite, it seems like some of her interesting beliefs and maybe teachings, it does feel like the people are important to her. I just couldn't tell if it's manipulative or actually caring, if that makes sense.
And I'm not sure how viable of an option it is, but perhaps there could be a third option if we're able to go to where that Feywild Gate is. Would be able to provide warmth for a lot more of the city. Perhaps it could then mean that there's a more neutral place that it could be then put, and your speech, whatever you're planning, could be done there.
I was actually going to suggest that.
The
gate to the Feywild within the forest could use its arcane capabilities to possibly heat up the city. There is also that temple northward that has that brazier. I think we don't have very good options to talk to everyone now. But I do think it is necessary.
Those
I
are
think
both
also
good ideas.
potentially doing it after we've got both those sources of warmth as well. It gives credibility to what you're saying as well. It shows that you mean what you're saying, that they're not just words, that you have already done things to help the people.
I like that idea a lot. Another one I did think of, admittedly just now, was... I mean, I'd like to talk to everybody all at once, but if it became more safe and more neutral, we could split it up and have 2 talks. One with people who would like to meet at one location and the other at another. It's not unifying, and I'd rather it be unifying, but if it's too difficult of a dance, it's an option too. But I really like that idea. Carasola.
We have other news to bring up, but before we do, I feel like there's something we heard about Liliana specifically that we should bring up. There was a guy we talked to in that lodge while we were there. The guy who seemed to be running things for the most part.
The
really
leader
seemed
of the
like-
Phoenix?
No, the leader of... or whatever they were called. The people that used to have a neighborhood there before everything.
I think more accurately, just someone that people could look to towards there.
Point is, this guy had arms like mine, probably worse, actually. And he said that the Order, maybe even Liliana herself, did it when there were riots in the city to make an example of him.
For others too, I think it is worth adding it wasn't just him. It seemed that there was quite a lot of punishment that was happening in the earlier days. Supposedly has dropped off since, but it's a worrying thing to learn.
Question is, does she regret it, or does she just not think it's necessary right now?
Really saddens me to hear that, but I got the feeling that she might be hiding a few things anyway. But I don't know, it's strange. She offered me a spot among their ranks, but after all of this, oh god, I don't know what to think of it.
I'm trying not to let my own shit get in the way, but I do think we should at least take what she says with a grain of salt. The other thing is, the people that we talk to, a lot of them wouldn't mind seeing her dead. I don't know how fixable that is. And that's where this whole Phoenix thing comes up. He said that some entity appeared to him in a hearth, promising to bring his people warmth if they swore allegiance to it. Now, Carasilla and I agreed that sounds like a crock of shit. Sounds like a way to get somebody desperate to fall for a trick. But I think those people are considering it. At this point, I think they'd do anything. He told us where the hearth was, but we haven't looked into it yet. Obviously, just the two of us. Could have been walking into a demon hole for all I know. But at some point, we're gonna have to contend with that, and whatever this Phoenix is might change how we feel about Liliana and Azor.
We'll say that they were holding a vote there as well as to whether or not they are going to agree to allegiance with the Phoenix. We have a week to try and find more about. We do know where the hearth was after all, and I'm hoping we'll be able to find out more about what exactly it is. But I think we at least should feel secure enough to know that nothing's going to happen to Liliana, nothing's going to happen with those people until that happens. But they did hold a vote. I'm not even sure if they all collectively agree that Liliana needs to be removed, that this Phoenix needs to be allied with. But I also think it'd be difficult if those votes do come out and it is against Liliana. I think it'd be difficult to then bypass that and completely nullify the vote. I think if the people are hurting enough to want to see her dead and ally themselves with some strange entity that none of them had spoken to, I think that's still something that needs to be addressed.
I think that we need to lay our cards out in front of us. It sounds like we have quite a bit of things that we need to deal with. And we need to pick which ones matter the most. We cannot handle them all. We have demons at our doorstep. A frost going over the land that we must take care of. We need to figure out our priorities. We can't do everything.
Well, I think an
I-
important first step is figuring out what we actually need to be around for. I think the Phoenix
Agreed.
thing needs our personal touch, but as far as all those other flags up at the war table go, I guess we can sort that out.
Well, this is beyond the war table. There is plenty of conflict within Maester. If we leave Maester the current way it is, there might not be a Maester when we get back. I just think we should figure out what we should do first.
Are we still meeting with Alika tonight?
I believe so.
Well, she'll kind of look to everybody. Maybe he can get to whatever thing we think is most important on the war table, and we can try to take care of business here.
What is our main priority here?
Well, we know where he saw the Phoenix. Grisha, that is, the guy we talked to. I think we need to get a good sense of who Liliana actually is, who Azur and the Sapphire God is, and who the Phoenix is, so that we can figure out... Well, I don't know if the right thing is the word I should use. It is politics, but just figure out how to keep everything from blowing up.
I would say... I think on the lower of the list is figuring out who the Sapphire God is. Yes, we should probably figure that out at some point, but it seems that a majority of the city is content with that ideology, and it's not making them aggressive. The Phoenix, however, is about to start an in-war inside of Maester.
I agree. I think we need to get sorry. We need to get
It's
the
okay.
Phoenix. We need to get that Phoenix situation under control and speak to Liliana. We need to figure out what Liliana is thinking. Where does she align? Because she is a key part in our attack. And if she is also breaking apart Maester, we need a unified attack.
I agree.
We need to get some information straight with Liliana. For lack of better words, I'm just very disappointed. And unfortunately not surprised, and I wish I was, but if she is that polarizing to the people, but she's also the main source of a lot of our fighting power, we need to iron that out. Who's going...
Save and-
We can't rally behind her if she's harming our own citizens.
Even if there does seem to be a general consensus from the people that, well, such measures as killing her is needed. Gracia did seem to have a bit more of a empathetic view of her. There is something to be said when the city comes under siege, when there are demons coming in, there do need to be hard decisions, and order is important to be maintained. I think the real issue is that Liliana has acted out, tried to get that order, and has then not turned around and tried to make right with people.
That's what I was saying earlier. If we're
Was-
seen shaking hands with her,
Right.
what happens when she does something like that again?
Was it isolated to the riots in particular, or was this something like how she basically made order, especially in the early days, like even outside of the riots? Not that that changes like much, but it does inform.
I think it's more about maintaining order. It didn't stop after, I assume, the riots did. It did continue throughout.
Okay, that's important because we have to talk to her about this.
Sounds like when everything started, there were questions about who would fill the power void, and she wanted to make it very clear it was going to be her.
Unfortunately, in scenarios like this, especially when you've been taught all your life how to fight, things like that happen. We need to figure out her intentions, why she did these things, and what she's been doing since then. We need to understand her dying is not an option. Her being imprisoned is.
But if we imprison her, the Order may not be very friendly to us, and we need them. We cannot betray the Order at this time.
Maybe the best thing is for me to join them then and find out what I can from inside the people and her subordinates. And honestly, I don't really have any clue about anything that the Order does, so it would be good to have a better grasp on what they're actually doing here and wherever else.
Are you sure, Sunny? I mean, how serious is you joining? Are you going to have to sign a blood oath or something?
Well, what she had told me was that while typically a lot of the members of the Order are not permitted to just be out and about on their own, that under the circumstances, that after my initial training and the knowledge that I get while I'm there, that they'll give me some sort of a title and let me be on my way. I assume if they need me, they would contact me, but I don't really... She didn't go very in detail about any of it.
I think if it is something you want to do, I think that is a good idea to keep our relationship healthy with the Order, but I'm not thinking about waiting on acting. We have a week for this Phoenix thing. Demons and ice are coming every day. We only have so much time. I'm not afraid to face her head on. It's happening now. There's no more prep. We have to act in some way. It has to be smart, but we just gotta talk to Liliana. There's no beating around the bush. We gotta tell her this is not acceptable, hasn't been acceptable. This is what we're here to do, and you need to be with us. We gotta stand up for these people. It's not a war against her, but we gotta fix this relationship.
Then let's go talk to her now.
Have we discussed everything we need to?
I think talking to her would be an option, but I think it also might be wise to try and see if there's any more information for where the Phoenix was. They're so clearly against Liliana. Having more information about her might be helpful. I'm not sure if there will be, but I think it's worth looking into.
So you're thinking we should go find the Phoenix that they told you about, like that hearth? Go find that now?
I think at least before we talk to her. Whether or not we'll be able to talk with the Phoenix, I honestly feel like we might not, but I know at least Suni you're able to detect presences, whether they're good or evil. think knowing that will also help. Evil things tend to dislike good things. So if this phoenix is truly evil, and it's trying to see Liliana out, then perhaps it will allow us to be a bit more forgiving to Liliana. Obviously don't condone anything she's done, but there's something to be said about her just being scared and trying to get order no matter how she can get it.
How many people were at this meeting?
It was pretty full. How many were there?
Um,
Solid
in,
couple thousand?
One lodge.
in, in the room, there was probably, it wasn't big enough for 1,000, but it was like jam packed. It was close. It was maybe 900 people.
Yeah. Relay that.
And all of them. Or we're talking about this phoenix.
Yes, and there were few
I knew
happy
about
faces
it.
among them. Again, it was a secret vote. I couldn't tell you how many wanted to join with them or not. But from the general atmosphere, the general look upon people's faces, it wasn't exactly happy.
This is just me openly thinking. If we find this phoenix, this thing that all of them are looking towards for guidance to take over the city and remove Liliana. Say we find it. Say that this thing is evil. It is some sort of devil, demon, evil entity. And we destroy it. Do we think those people are going to start hating us?
Well, we'd certainly have to make a case for it, but Grisha's gonna be on our side no matter what. He doesn't want this situation to explode.
I
Is
think
this
also
entity-
if we,
Has this
if we
entity?
show ourselves to be a...
Sorry.
Go, Felicity.
She was just gonna ask, did this entity only speak with Grisha, or has it made itself visible and spoken with more other people?
It's only been to Grisha, at least currently, and they've only spoken once, and I think somewhat briefly as well.
Well,
But
then, not that I think we should, for sure go in there ready to kill something, but if he is truly at least aligned with you two, whatever you report back to him, and if you're like, it was evil, we had to remove it, he would probably be able to inform that to everyone else. So we do have that, right?
I don't think they'd like it, but it would force them to not make the situation simple.
I think
Or
it's
at least
also
buy us
important to
time.
remember they don't, none of the rest of them at least, have spoken with a phoenix or even, I'd posit, know much about them. What they're looking for is an alternative to Liliana. Something that will finally rid themselves of the frost. I think it doesn't matter if they believe in the phoenix, they just need something to believe in. If we're able to get rid of the phoenix and then give them something else. Like with showing that the Damaris will be reclaiming the kingdom for the people. I think that should be grounds enough for them to replace the belief they had in the Phoenix with then support for us. Support for, I think, something we know will be beneficial. At least I'm sure it's something all of us want to be beneficial. Show them that there's an alternative, then they don't need the Phoenix. They can believe in what we're doing. Which then, hopefully, we could even get the support in trying to take the keep.
I agree.
Yeah.
Just got to make sure we back it up before we ask them to back Bianca. And that's where that war table shit comes in.
Right.
Getting magic from a Fey Gate does sound like it could help.
Yeah. That just get the sense that these people are hungry enough that they're done with talk. They want to see something.
Actions
Then-
do speak louder than words.
Is that what we, at least for now, want to be plan A? We go confront this Phoenix thing, figure out what that is, confront Liliana. We go to the Fae Gate. We talk to the people. Is that our plan?
I think it should all hopefully pull together nicely if things go our way as well.
I do have a question, Joe. Oh, wait, it's on the map. How
Okay.
long is a week in this world?
7 days.
Okay. So is the war table map, is that like accurate? Like if I measure, it's like 2 days?
Yeah, if it says days, that should be right.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yuppity
I
yup.
see.
The northward tower with the brazier that creates heat is closer.
I mean, honestly, could we not do both?
We
Because
want to.
if we do have 7 days, if we use Alika to secure one source and then we could go after another.
That's
Then we
that's
have-
why we gotta talk to
Alika.
Alika before we do any of this, I think.
That is a good idea, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, we could send Alika to one of them. Yeah.
Probably the
Fae Gate.
Fae Gate. That one
Yeah, the
seems
one
like
that's
it's
further.
probably not the most enemies,
Yeah.
whereas the tower is
And I think
has
he
the most
already
enemies.
has a
Yeah.
relationship with some of the. And I may be misremembering, but doesn't he kind of have a relationship with the Arboreal Exiles?
Boreals, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Eco-terrorists and people that are
Poppy.
considered terrorists by
Yeah.
the state are
Let's be
yep,
friends.
Yeah.
they do get along. I will say that
We
whoever
like
goes to the brazier, the Knights of the Dawn, so Sir Lapierre and his knights, the same ones that showed up in Periton, are up here. That's
Yeah,
what these
okay.
units are right here.
And we have a connection with them. So
Correct.
that
So
would
tonight
make the
we're-
most sense.
What time of day is it right now?
It is
Mhm.
1 o'clock.
We got
Oh,
the
okay.
day is young.
Maybe we
Well,
should
that
just
was
be
a
like, "Yo,
morning
Alika, get your ass up here now. Let's talk about this."
Yeah, because I mean, if we make plans, and we'll definitely be able to make plans and solidify them before the evening's out, and so then, you know, they can definitely set out in the morning. Then that gives them full days travel, safer,
Yeah.
I guess, as well.
Oh,
So, yeah.
Jackson's got to talk to Liliana. Like, hey, Alika's coming up.
I mean, we probably should just before we put anything in action with the war table, we need to have the conversation with Liliana and update her as well.
Well then we need to do the Phoenix thing first.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Phoenix, talk to Liliana, war table, and then that's probably going to be our day.
And
then
invite
see where
Alika
we're
to the
going
war
from there.
table conversation.
Yeah.
Well, we already did.
Well, we're doing. Oh yeah, we already did. Yeah.
We
So
already did
perfect.
that. It
Yeah.
was just like, yeah, I'm gonna let Liliana know.
We're already
you're
like
coming.
7
So,
steps
I
ahead.
mean, you know what? We don't really need to let her know that he's coming. Just be like, yeah, he's here.
Oh,
I
she
mean-
won't care. It'll be fine.
Do we even need permission? I mean, the war table is
Yeah.
ours to use. Surely we could just be like, yeah,
Yeah.
it's chill.
Yeah, we don't need her permission.
Yeah.
Fuck her. You sup.
You guys
Oh.
are the you guys are the boss here.
What's she gonna do?
I don't know that we want to find out.
I don't know. Accelerate it. See what
We've
happens.
killed it. We've killed 13. I'm feeling good about. You know, like
Oh
Yeah.
boy.
bring it
We
on.
can kill one bitch, you know? We got it.
In character, real quick. Hey, by the way, Suni,
Yeah, what's up?
did you happen to notice any dwarves while you were walking around the temple?
You know, I noticed many dwarves. They seemed to be really packing it in there, and I helped them kind of settle in a little bit before I left. They seem to be doing okay.
I know we originally thought of having them wait for the main battle and kind of rest up, but Do we want to maybe loop one of them into this war table meeting too? Might be able to send them out.
Probably wouldn't be a bad idea.
They definitely seem like they can get around pretty fast and take care of themselves.
I think it's probably a good option. It's better to have more people out there than not. Means we will be able to get to more places faster. Not to mention safer. There we go.
It is safer.
I can speak.
Hey Joe, I have a really random question.
Yo, what up?
So I guess it's not that random. And I might be
okay.
so it's. I'm trying to think if I'm remembering this right. Was there ever a time where either version of Emerald like talked to us through a hearth or a fireplace or fire of some sort?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, I was just making sure that
Bianca,
Okay, was Bianca the only one who was there for that? Because I thought I remembered that, and then I couldn't remember if that was right or not.
No, I thought it was.
The whole party talked to the campfire that one time.
Yeah.
I thought
Was this the time
with-
that we all had the shared vision?
The one time, so there was one time in
Oh, that was the dark one, though.
in Reachka where evil Emeril talked to
Bianca.
Bianca.
Bianca. Was that not through a fire?
No,
it
that was
her
through a
reflection.
mirror. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
through a mirror.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then we talked
Good
to the
Emerald's
good
talked to us through a
one.
fire, though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we talked to a good one through a campfire, and that's when he was like, "I'm in a space pocket."
That's right. I remember now.
Yeah.
I am in
Okay.
pocket. Hell,
See, I thought the Bianca thing was through a fire as well. That was leading into some of my theories, but whoops.
that was in a
Oh.
mirror.
Yeah. Because
That's
she
fine,
was
though.
looking at her tiefling appearance, going, "Man, this is a racist world we live in." And then Emeril showed up and was like, "Hey,
Shit, fam, it is.
hmm,
What if you could change your race?
what if?"
If you could change your fate, what size shoe would you wear?
She's still a tiefling. She's just different looking tiefling.
She's got
She's
cat
less
ears now,
tiefling.
apparently.
Yeah. Meow.
She's
Nico,
now just a
Nico,
fairy.
Nico.
Yeah,
Yep.
I guess.
I'm
I'm
here
Ajax.
to move
Upgrades,
it.
people upgrades.
A white cat. Meow.
I am
So-
here to reclaim the Damaris throne. Ooh woo.
Yeah.
All right. So the plan.
Yes.
Step
Yeah.
1. What are you doing? What are you
Going to
immediately?
Phoenix.
Phoenix.
Phoenix. Yes.
Just to like the room that they told you about?
Oh, start the investigation.
We're
Okay.
gonna investigate every hearth
We
in
investigate.
Maester.
Or do you know something I don't?
We're gonna go to the hearth place. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're gonna go
No,
talk
we're gonna
directly
go
to
to
the
Hearth,
Phoenix.
Try and
Yep.
suss that out, and then we're gonna use that as our basis for then, I guess.
I mean, Joe, would you let us
talking
just
to
talk
Liana.
directly to the Phoenix and skip all of it? You know. It's just-
Yeah, that'd be really cash money. What if he was just in the room with us now? How convenient would that be, Joe?
What if it was a real Phoenix? Crazy.
Caw.
Aw.
That was so.
Why?
Aw.
Oh my god.
So we
So
were
we're
gonna
going
go
to
look for the hearth that they told
Okay.
us about.
All right, you're gonna go
if we
look for the
could.
hearth that they told you about. Got it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Cool.
As a group.
You exit
Roll out, squad. Caw.
out of
Sorry.
the lodge. Leaving the lodge, once again, you are confronted with the incredible cold that surrounds you in the city of Maester. The falling snow, the whipping wind, and the sound of icy rivers breaking apart all around you. Water barely rushing as most of it is solidified to an almost stone-like density. You make your way to the abandoned home on the map that had been indicated to you as the place where this Phoenix, or one of these individuals closely related to the Phoenix, had communicated with the rest, with the butcher, the individual that Carasilla and Cecily spoke to earlier. All of you make your way. Now, the thing is, because of where it's located, you do end up having to go most of the way around the city in order to make your way back here. So you do just that. You take the long walk back. As all of you are walking, there is a brief moment where the wind begins to pick up around you. The snow begins to fall heavier. And your range of vision is reduced even further. All of you, looking to the distance in front of you, you see a form. Mirage, almost, like entity. Its form shifting and breaking away with each stroke of the wind. The closer all of you get, the further away it seems to be. Does anybody want to do anything? Suni, I will say, even without using Divine Sense, you recognize the scent. It's strong enough, and it's in front of you.
I know you said the vision is already really bad, but, like, if, like, Bianca quickens step, can she try and, like, I don't know, peer closer?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so as you... Are you talking about your shadow slide, or just, like...
No, not necessarily. She's not, like, bolting after it. Just trying to, like...
Quicken her pace.
Quicken, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you pick up the pace a little bit, and you get closer, but the faster you're running, the further away it's getting. But you can tell that it's not facing away from you, it's facing towards you. It's looking at you, the same way that you can feel eyes on you. You can feel like someone's watching you. You feel this entity looking at you. If you stop, it gets closer. If you move towards it, it gets further away.
What if we back up?
Sorry. Not walk in reverse. Let's go.
Yeah. Does it get closer?
No.
I mean, Carousel will just, I guess because there's also wind and shit, just to make it clearer, she'll message the thing, the person, I guess. Person's probably more accurate. Hello there? Are you alright out there?
You receive a response, Caracilla, but you can feel as though it's not necessarily from the message. The two aren't connected, which is very strange, but it is answering your question. As it responds to you, you can feel that this cold sensation shudder down your spine.
Whether through the hottest cimbers in the hells, or the coldest shards of ice in the deepest, darkest pits of the abyss, you all will feel my wrath. I will not let a usurper dethrone me.
As you can see the figure fade, the winds around you relax, and the snow lightens just a bit. As you can now see clearly in front of you, you can see the buildings to your left and to right. And Suni, you do not recognize that scent any longer. However, Carasilla, you were the only person to hear that message.
Yeah, she'll pause, I think, putting it together, and we'll relay it, probably almost word to word, because I think, good memory there. And she'll just be kind of looking at Bianca as she says it. Think we've been noticed?
Yeah, Bianca's not gonna say anything. She's just gonna, after we all take the pause, just hear it and then keep walking forward.
Okay.
Yeah, Cecily will let her do that, but she'll kind of just mumble under her breath, "Good," and she'll keep walking too.
Okay. So,
Ajax is going to be keeping an eye out.
okay, go ahead and make a perception check for me.
Well,
Okay.
I guess I'm not.
You are keeping an eye out, for sure. It's just visibility in this area is so low. You can barely see 5 feet in front of you, let alone the distance you would need to see around you in order to keep a watchful eye anyway. If anything gets close enough, you'll see it. But anything past that range of your vision, it'd just be guesswork.
Okay,
So-
can I just say that Ajax is just, he's got his spear already out, just walking around with it,
Mhm.
almost like a walking cane, but he's ready to hit something. So if anything does get close to us, he's basically just readying an action the whole time to swipe it, something that gets close, that could be hostile.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. All right, so you prepare for that, just in case anything does come up. As you head in the direction of the gate that you had arrived in, eventually passing it, some of the guards of the Order of the All-Seeing, they nod and wave to you as you pass, as you make your way to the house. At the end of this road, overlooking the river, and you can even see the lodge from where you're at. You can see the light and warmth like a beacon of hope in the distance. Whereas you sit is currently cold and desolate. In this corner of the city in particular, there is no life. Aside from the 2 guards that you had seen near the gate before, no one is here. No one in their right mind would be here. As all of you having left the last lantern 15 minutes ago, the cold starts to creep. You can feel your joints begin to get icy. Your range of mobility and speed is reduced. For the rest of the time that you are in this area, your movement speed is halved, just so all of you are aware. You are cold, you are uncomfortable, and you are having a hard time keeping your eyelids up and trudging through the snow around you. You all shiver and shudder while looking around, and eventually you get to the house. The door is cracked, and inside you can see what looks to be this pale golden light bleeding through the door that is currently cracked. What do all of you do?
If we're
Yeah,
cold,
kind of.
let's go in.
Yeah, we'll look to Suni, to, I guess, start heading in. See what's up.
Ajax is going to position himself in the front, if possible, if everyone will let him.
Okay.
And he will also say,
Suni, do you feel anything?
Suni, as you sense, I'm assuming divine sense. Or did you want to do something different?
any heroes?
I don't know. I don't think he does.
Cameron?
Uh-oh.
Cameron,
Uh-oh.
are
Cameron?
we on mute for him?
He's Oh no!
Can he not hear us?
Cameron,
What's happening?
Oh,
Oh no!
Oh
no!
the poor
okay.
overlay.
oh boy.
man.
Now we must wait for the third coming of Cameron. Oh!
Hey.
There he is.
Hey.
We were frozen, and then I had little swirly boxes.
Oh no.
You
that
you
was-
were not frozen. You just looked so
You're just-
deep in
You're
thought.
No, I was very much like,
It was amazing.
Nope.
funny.
It was
Like
it was
you-
Joe was
Uh,
like, Sudi, do you want to use divine sense or are you doing something else? And you were just going
We got to the front
amazing.
of the door. Ajax is at the front. Ajax asks Suni if he feels anything on the other side.
he would divine sense. I also have detect evil and good prepared though.
Hell yeah. Double dip.
So
Mm.
let me see what the exact difference is. 'cause I
Yeah,
don't
what do
know.
you? Yeah, I will. Yeah, I mean, whichever one you want to do. The only other thing, just in case it froze before this, your movement speed is halved while you're in this area of the area.
Yeah,
of the
I
city.
heard that.
Okay, all right, cool.
Yeah, we chilling.
Being chilling. Okay, sorry.
We bing chilling.
I'll just do divine sense for now, just to
Okay.
see if it works. I don't honestly know if detect evil and good is much different.
Okay, so divine sense specifically allows you to sense celestials, or what is it? It's undead, fae, and fiends.
Yes. Well, actually, then at that point, I will just go ahead and cast detect evil and good because it gives me a bigger range. So
Okay.
for 10
Celestials,
minutes,
too.
for 30 feet, aberration, celestial, elemental, fae, fiend, or undead, as well as where it's located or anything about it being magically consecrated or desecrated.
Oh.
Hell
It
yeah,
is
paladins.
just better.
Yes.
It cost a thing.
So I'll go ahead and do that.
Alrighty. So as you enter, opening, or are you casting it from the outside?
I'll cast from the outside to start.
Okay.
Yeah.
So to start, you know that this house at one point in time was consecrated ground, but in its current state is desecrated. There has been some type of malevolence that has happened here that has corrupted the very ground that this house is built upon. In terms of entities in particular, you do not immediately gain any sense of any of those creatures, but you can tell that this ground, as of this moment, is desecrated.
I don't sense anything specifically that's inside, but this building it's been desecrated. I can feel it.
Certainly not a good start then.
So you think this was a religious place at one point? And then it got fucked up?
It would seem like that.
Everyone on guard.
Yeah, I can get with that.
Ajax kind of puts his hand on the door and looks back to everyone.
Ready?
Bianca will do her crimson right. Lightning.
He's opening the door with the shield. Shield's on the hand, but he's using his hand to open it while he's got his spear up.
tactical grip.
Yeah, tactically going in.
Cecily will get both of her hands out of her pockets.
Breaching clear.
Tactical.
Okay. Okay. Is anybody else doing anything before they head in? Nope. All right. Cool.
Bracing
it be like
ourselves, I
a
guess.
Watch it be like a flail snail on the other side. It's just like, hey guys.
I like how like 4 of us did the exact same movement.
I mean, flail snail is a creature name. It is also a movement. You know,
Yeah.
everyone knows.
To the flail snail.
Cheer, Captain, and I'm just a flail snail.
Okay. Jokes aside.
No.
As all of you enter, this is a larger house, seemingly 2 stories with a basement. The reason I say that is because you can see the basement very, very, very clearly from where you're at. The upstairs is also easily visible, as there are holes that are torn through and ripped through the floor above you, and it seems as though the flooring has been tore up from beneath. You can see in the main room that you enter, there are 3 braziers, currently just embers sitting in the pots. A small amount of smoke smolders off of them, which is incredibly unnatural considering the insanely cold temperatures that you currently find yourselves in. You can see beneath you, there's a large, maybe 5, 10, 15 feet in front of you, there is a large hole in the center of this home that leads directly to the basement. As Ajax being the one leading the party in, you're the first one to get there. And as you look down that hole, you can see what looks to be snow covering most things. But there seems to be a few pieces of rubble that are jutting out from the stone, maybe from floors that had fallen through, but something relatively heavy or mighty needed to fall in order to bust through all of those layers. So you see that main hole, and you see a matching one right above it in the second floor, and those 3 braziers currently smoldering. You can see a staircase that leads upward that seems to be intact still. But there are no stairs that lead down to the basement. The only way to get down there is to jump through that hole. However, as all of you enter, who's the last one in?
I'll probably be at the back.
So Cecily, as you enter, the door slams behind you. As all of you look back towards Cecily, and she meets you with a shrug, as obviously Cecily didn't do that. And as all of you turn back, you can see the braziers now ablaze. But there's a strange thing that happens. As the braziers illuminate, same as how it was described to you, all of the small bits of warmth that was in this room are sucked away. They collide into the flame. And you can see these apparitions appear. They speak in harmony, and they speak aggressively. You are unwelcome here. You come. You seek knowledge. You seek to know as to what the Phoenix wants. But you all are unworthy. You are not deserving of that knowledge, and you are not deserving of a second
chance. A cleansing flame will sweep across this land, and all of you will be consumed with it. You can see those 3 braziers, they explode in flame. And you can see in that white flash of blinding light, all of you for a moment are temporarily disoriented. Almost like a flashbang going off right in front of your face as you blink, trying to make sense of what's happening. As all of you look around, you can see these strange creatures begin to apparate and appear, born of the flame, but still emanating no warmth or heat. Cold, lifeless creatures. And Suni, you had sensed it before when they had first appeared, and you sense it now with these creatures in front of you. These entities might be appearing in flame and fire, but overwhelmingly, the senses that you have are detecting undead of some kind. As all of you look, you can see not only are they in front of you, but some also appear upstairs, looking down through the hole. And as these strange creatures ready themselves to attack you, as you try your best to understand where your allies are and where the enemies are, that is actually where we're going to go ahead and end tonight's session.
Oh.
Woo! Look at that.
Caw.
Call.
Cool.
Nice. So yeah, that is where we're gonna go ahead and end tonight. Picking up next week, we'll get some funsies combat. And then, but that's okay. This is good. This is good. I like where this is going. This will be a lot of fun. I didn't anticipate you guys to go here ASAP. So that's fun. Yeah, no, don't apologize. That's a lot of fun. Oh, thank you, NW Merchant, for stopping by. GG's to you as well.
GG.
So that's where we're gonna go ahead and end it. Thanks for watching, everybody. Be sure to tune in tomorrow for the Tales of Everend. Next Saturday for Isles, it'll be back, and next Sunday for the continuation of Buried Time, or next Tuesday to see these guys. Hopefully, I mean, they killed one of the Forsaken. Hopefully, they can handle some of these weird undead creatures. But we'll
I think
see.
we got this.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll fuck up. And this will
Yeah.
be where the
Maybe
TPK
slow
happens.
die.
Maybe they'll
Maybe.
possess us and we'll kill each other.
Maybe. Who knows?
Maybe.
That'd be fun.
All right.
Maybe we die and Joe says, end of prologue.
Oh, damn.
We'll just
Salamander
have-
Coast, Chapter 1.
To tune in next week.